Hey Pearls, warm greetings and heartiest thanks once again from the behalf of Shandeep Astrology YouTube channel. Pearls, all of you are now aware of our Prarabdhial depths and what we should do to rectifying those Prarabdhial depths is the main purpose of the soul for its arrival on this world of Maya. So, you have heard me telling many a time that we should have to adapt to the most appropriate and rectified behavioral responses and reactions to rectifying the Prarabdhial depths that our soul is journeying after. So today, this very morning, the topic of astrologization is going to be on the basis, is going to be the analysis of the ways, analysis of the stuffs that we should do or perform to rectifying our Prarabdhial depths to reach towards the end, the ultimate end, where we will free the bliss of ultimate freedom, the association with the big one or the moksha, however you may want to term it, you may do it. So the main purpose or the basic purpose of a soul arriving in this world of Maya is the performance is to perform or do the deeds towards rectifying the Prarabdhial mistakes that we have kept in committing through cycle of previous births, and we at the ultimate core of the nemesis we are given the verdict to do this or to do that, so that the Prarabdhial depths or the karmic depths or the pending karmas may reach to an end, leading to our freedom. Ketu is a shadowy planet indicating the flagship identity of a particular soul that has embarked on its path to rectifying its Prarabdhial depths. Suppose all our vehicles are registered under the government with a particular number, and you may also conceptualize it in this way that our soul also has a particular number for our very identity given at the ultimate core of the nemesis, and it is symbolized by Ketu. So you may consider Ketu as the flagship identity of the soul residing in our mortal body, always moving forward with the purpose or with a view to rectifying the Prarabdhial depths, to attaining its freedom. Now here I would like to add that the placement of Ketu in a particular natal chart clearly indicates the spheres or the stuffs that we should keep on doing to fulfilling the pending karmas, to fulfilling the deliverance in terms of the pending karmas. Very house or the very zone or the very zodiac sign where Ketu is positing in a particular natal chart clearly indicates clearly indicates the stuffs or the spheres the native is going to be master doing at, or the spheres or the reactions that the native is going to adjust himself to tolerating the same, with a view to rectifying the karmic debts. And these are the pending karmas, and the position or the placement of the Ketu in a particular natal chart clearly indicates the pending karmas that the native has left doing in its previous birth. So you will find natives getting highly conscious or staying highly focused to doing particular stuffs, clearly indicated by the position of the Ketu in that concerned particular natal chart, and for that reason you will find yourself getting highly, you will find yourself always submerged in a feeling of insecurity, of losing something, of losing the stuffs that your heart desires to keep on doing with a view to rectifying our Prarabdhial debts. And this sense of insecurity comes because of the fact that our very soul does not want to miss out on this very chance of completing the deeds towards rectifying our Prarabdhial debts, so that the soul ultimately becomes able to getting one with the big one, because all the souls are parts of the big energy. So the very purpose of the arrival of a particular soul on this world of Maya can easily be interpreted by the position of the Ketu in his or her particular natal chart. And by closely observing the position of Ketu in a particular natal chart, you can clearly understand what you should do and what you should leave doing and what you should ignore and the stuffs that you should learn to adjust towards rectifying the Prarabdhial debts. It is as simple as this. And today, this very morning, my topic of astrologization is going to be pinpointing those sectors or those particular segments of karmas that the native should focus on doing towards rectifying his or her Prarabdhial debts, so that you can also be able to move on the particular right track that Nemesis is asking you to move forward to, so that Mother Earth can bless you with all the abundance that she has in offering for all of her children. It is as simple as this. First house is our ascendant, is our very self. First house indicates our real self, our social image, everything that is related with us. So it clearly indicates that that particular native will have karmic debts, will have Prarabdhial debts related to himself or herself. It clearly indicates that the native has made mistakes regarding doing duties towards his very self. Such position of Ketu clearly indicates that the native has stuffs uncompleted regarding his or her very self, and hence you will find such natives you will find such natives are completely always engrossed in doing, always engrossed in staying busy with himself or herself. It may be also that that the native has understood that he should do, or he should do such things to bring such kind of improvement in himself or herself in his or her previous birth. But as nemesis would be, the journey of his soul has to end, because this mortal body has an expiry date, and because of its death in its previous birth, the soul has not been able to completing the steps that he has once started to rectifying the prarabdhial debts regarding himself or her very self. So in this life, his or her main focus would be on to completing those steps. You may find such natives staying completely self-obsessed, or in doing steps only for himself or herself, only for the rectification of himself or herself. Here you may also find such natives staying detached from the main current. But the real fact is the natives stay completely engrossed in himself or herself, because the particular soul residing in his or her mortal body has come to this world of Maya only to performing those particular deeds. Such natives will suffer from a sense of insecurity that he or she should not again miss out on the chance to rectify his or her prarabdhial deeds regarding himself or herself. So they don't want to spoil time by doing other things. They do not want to waste even a single second spent with the thinking of the main current or the society he or she is residing in. He or she will stay completely self-obsessed or self-focused in performing the task that he or she has come to completing, come to most appropriate and rectified. It may be also, it does not mean that the native will get success in completing the prarabdhial debts regarding himself or herself in this existing birth, because let's put it in this way: whether the native will be able to complete the tasks, to complete the prarabdhial debts regarding himself or herself in this existing birth will entirely depend on can be said only after the complete analysis of the particular natal chart, because the dispositor planet for the Ketu and other planetary combinations also matter the most. But from it's a general analysis, and from the position of the Ketu you can at least have the glimpse of hint where you should channelize your energy to rectifying your prarabdhial mistakes. What should be the most appropriate and rectified behavioral responses for you can be is indicated by the position of the Ketu. It does not mean that it has to be in this way. For the exact road, for being able to know the exact, for letting you know the exact road for you, the complete analysis of the entire horoscope is really needed. But from the position of the Ketu you can at least have a glimpse of the hint. So from the position of Ketu in your first house, it can easily be interpreted that you have prarabdhial debts regarding your very self. Now if your mistakes and the severity of the prarabdhial debts entirely depends on the severity of the mistakes committed by you in your previous birth. So if the mistakes are very severe, it may be you may be given the verdict from the ultimate core of the nemesis is that you should suffer in doing stuffs for your very self without getting any kind of result, because maybe it was also in this way that you have completely wasted your prarabdhial gift skulls, you have completely wasted your mortal body, you have completely wasted your second chance to rectifying your prarabdhial debts in your previous birth. So in such case, in this existing birth, you will only find such natives keep on doing things, such stuffs for himself or herself without securing or gaining any kind of result, because it is his prarabdhial, it is his or her prarabdh. So the results from the position of a Ketu will be good or bad, depends on your prarabdh and is indicated from your particular natal chart, and from the position of Ketu you will at least be able to know what you should do, what you should leave unresponded, what you should learn to adjust to. Here in the case of Ketu positing in the first house, it will be perfectly said that you should have to keep on doing stuffs towards rectifying prarabdhial debts for yourself. It may be also in this way that suppose in your previous birth you have worked really hard for your very self, you have worked really hard for your very career, and you have got a big chance, but you could not relish the accomplishment of that very success. Now in this existing birth, you will get the chance to relishing the success that you have not been able to relish in your previous birth. So in such case, Ketu will offer mind-blowing results for such natives. So the dispositor planet for the Ketu, or the position of the Ketu in that particular natal chart, or if Ketu is getting afflicted with such malefic or cruel planets, matter the most in terms of exactly pinpointing the road to rectifying your prarabdhial debts for your very self. Now pause, let's move on to the second house. Suppose Ketu is positing in a second house in a particular natal chart. As you all know, pause, second house refers to our relations, second house refers to our family relations, second house refers to our wealth, second house refers to our speech, second house refers to our food habits. So such position of Ketu in a particular natal chart clearly indicates that such natives will have prarabdhial debts towards her family relation, towards his or her family relations, will have prarabdhial debts towards the effect brought out because of his or her speech, towards the effects brought out because of his or her food habits, or such natives, you will find such natives will also feeling a sense of insecurity regarding his or her wealth. She or he will have prarabdhial debts relating to the well management of his or her wealth also. Planetary position of Ketu second house refers to that also. So you will find such natives staying engrossed in doing things, in performing duties for his or her family relations. Maybe that maybe such things also happen that such natives are doing a lot for his or her family relations in return of nothing. He or she is always thinking for the betterment of his or her family relations, but his or her family relations is always ignoring his or her deeds. Here, the native should have to understand that it is because of our prarabdhial debts. He might have done the same with his or her family relations in his previous births. So now in this birth, he has to rectify or to complete those prarabdhial mistakes by accepting those reactions, those negative reactions from his family relations, because he has misused or he has misbehaved with his or her family relations. Now it can only be recompensated by accepting those misbehaviors, by accepting those ignorance from his or her family relations in this existing birth. So such karmic pattern works. Suppose that particular native had wrong food habits. Now in this existing birth, such native has to recompensate those wrong food habits by accepting strenuous food habits for maintaining or keeping good health. You have heard so many people saying that they love such dishes, but they can't take that because he or she has such diseases. It clearly indicates, and if Ketu posits in the second house for such natives, it clearly indicates that such natives may have misused his food habits in his previous birth. Now in this existing birth, he has got that disease from the previous birth, and he has to ignore those dishes, those delicious dishes of his heart's desire, to rectifying his prarabdhial mistakes of misusing food habits. Such natives are suffering from insecurity of losing wealth because such natives may have misused his wealth misused his family wealth in his previous births. Now, at the ultimate court of the nemesis, he has been given the verdict that he has to learn to managing family wealth, to valuing family wealth. So now in this existing birth, he or she is really conscious so that he does not make the same mistake in this existing birth, and he has to come again in this world of Maya to completing those prarabdhial mistakes. He does not want to miss out on this chance of this life. He wants to get such prarabdhial mistakes completed in this existing birth. Hence, he or she will always be in a kind of situation of feeling insecurity regarding his family wealth, regarding his bank balance, because he has misused that in his previous birth. But it may be situations, may be vice versa also, that natives may have done a lot for his family relations, may have valued his family wealth, may have well managed whatever he had in terms of his wealth in his previous birth. So now in this existing birth, he has got a good family. He is getting only good things from his family relations. Suppose everyone is telling that he has got his birth with a silver spoon in his lips. because he has done these things he has earned these things on the basis of his karma in his previous births. Now it is for this reason that he is enjoying or relishing the pleasure of his prarabdhial deeds from the previous births in this existing birth. Such a way karmic pattern works. Now first, let's suppose Ketu is positing in the third house. Third house symbolizes our siblings. So it clearly indicates that such natives with Ketu in the third house has prarabdhial debts towards his or her siblings. So in this existing birth, it may happen in this way that such natives may have to do a lot to performing his or her duties towards his or her siblings. But irrespective of what he is doing for his or her siblings, he is getting only ignorance or ill kind of reactions from his or her siblings. How much he does not get that much recognition from his or her siblings. It may happen in this existing birth. If such things happen, so it can be interpreted in this way that the karmic pattern, karmic debts indicates that such natives may have treated his or her siblings in the same way in his previous birth. Now it is for this reason that he has got same kind of attitude from his or her siblings. Now in this existing birth, such natives should have to accept or tolerate such kind of attitude from his or her siblings without stopping performing his duties towards them. Such is the verdict from the ultimate court of the nemesis. Third house also symbolizes our surroundings or the society we are existing in. If the concerned native with Ketu in the third house keeps on facing troublesome situations from his or her society or surrounding, it clearly indicates that he has also become the reason of nuisance towards his or her society in his previous birth. And it is for this reason that from the ultimate court of the nemesis, he has been given the verdict that he has to tolerate or accept such kind of attitude from his or her society, so that he may also be able to understand the pain of such kind of attitude, understand the pain what it may bear for the people that he has been causing nuisance to. Third house also symbolizes our hands, our efforts, or the deeds done with the efforts from our hands. So such natives may be quite adept in sports where both our hands are required. They may be skillful by birth. They may be skillful by birth in getting success, in becoming victorious in competitions in such kind of sports also. Because from the position of Ketu, it can clearly be interpreted the stuffs what you will be master doing at, or the stuffs what you should learn to adjust to. It will be on the basis of your prarabdha, and in this existing birth you have come to rectifying those prarabdhial mistakes. So such natives will always stay concerned, will always stay anxious, will always feel a sense of insecurity about what is in wait for them, what is going to come towards them from the society, or what kind of approach is going to come from his or her siblings. Such natives will also feel a kind of a sense of insecurity regarding her siblings. They may feel that they might lose his or her siblings if he stops doing or performing his duties towards them. And if he loses them, he will lose the chance of rectifying the very purpose that he has come to rectify in this world of Maya, in this existing birth. So wherever Ketu posits gives a sense of insecurity.